What is going on, you guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can get started calling real estate cash buyers to generate you passive income. Guys, not only is this one of the easiest ways that you can get started in real estate, but if you're already doing real estate wholesaling, this is a no-brainer because you can start earning passive income for doing something that you're already doing. If you haven't seen the other videos on my channel explaining step-by-step how to get started generating buyers, make sure you go and watch those because in today's video, we're going to be going over how you can properly speak to these buyers, how to properly vet them, and if you're confused with what our business model actually is, you and I have a partnership. I give you all the necessary resources to build real relationships with these cash buyers. I give you the data, scripts, and most importantly, a form so that you can submit these buyers that you've created relationships with. It's your job to vet these buyers, get their criteria for the kinds of property they're looking to acquire. Then we handle everything from there on out. We will continue to nurture that relationship with the buyer. We'll find the perfect properties for your buyer. We handle the contracts, negotiations, title company, attorneys, everything down to the closing. And once we close a deal, you're going to get a commission for every single transaction we complete with that buyer. So if we complete 10 transactions with that buyer, you're going to receive 10 different commissions, that first one being much higher than the rest. Before we get started, guys, I want to quickly emphasize how important it is to find a really solid cash buyer and not someone who just claims to be a buyer here and there. The best buyers to generate are the ones we know 100% will pull the trigger on a property if we bring it to them and if it fits their buying criteria, of course. Remember, we can use these buyers over and over and over again, which would result in long-term passive income for you. So let's get into the questions you need to ask to find that great level 10 cash buyer. What do we look for in a buyer? We base each buyer that we post over on Buyer Seller Marketplace with a level. The level is granted based off their experience, criteria, willingness to be flexible, and reliability. So the goal is to get the necessary info to give a buyer a rating. A buyer with 10 years of experience, multiple transactions per month, very detailed criteria, and willingness to be open to receiving properties consistently would result in a high 8 to 10 score. It's important that we get a score from these buyers so that we can prioritize some over the others. We want to work with more 8 to 10 range buyers. We're still going to work and give everybody an equal chance, but we want to work with the guys who are really serious about what they do. So guys, with that being said, we want to work with quality and not quantity. So let's keep that in mind and let's jump over to my computer so we can start going through this script and how to properly call, vet, and talk to these cash buyers. Alright guys, welcome to the cash buyer cold reach out script. Once again, this will be linked for free down below in the description. But it's very simple and you just got to follow it. Remember, you're not really selling them anything yet, so kind of talk to them as a friend. So the first thing that you're going to want to say is hey, and then the buyer's name. The buyer's names will be provided in the data if you request that in the link down below. But you're going to want to say, hey, let's just say the buyer's name is John. So hey, John, he's going to respond with hello. And you're going to say, how's it going? This is Bladen with Buyer Seller Marketplace. I actually got your number from a partner a few months back. He had mentioned that you were buying some properties over in Phoenix. Are you still looking to pick some properties up? Now, obviously, you guys can change this however you want. I actually do recommend kind of creating your own sales pitch, but I do recommend, creating your own. He's going to respond with yes. Awesome. Are you looking for anything in particular? Any desired areas, price range? Guys, we say just a few things right there when it comes to criteria, just to get our foot in the door, but you're going to want to ask tons of questions when it comes to the criteria. So like I said here in red, remember to ask as many questions as possible, even if they say no to certain criteria. If they give criteria details, skip to questions to ask, which is down here and which is what we'll go through. A lot of times, some people will just say, no, I don't really have a buying criteria. We buy in Florida. And if that's the case, you're going to really want to get your foot in the door some way and just try to get some sort of criteria out of them. They do always have a criteria. Sometimes they're just stingy about giving it out for some reason. But let's move on. Let's say the buyer says that they don't have criteria. So this is something that you can say, and like I said before, you can change this up to however you want. We pick up properties nationwide. I don't want to waste your time sending deals in states that you have no desire to buy in. We actually require proof of past transactions or proof of funds to be added to our buyers list. The reason for that is our team will allocate the time to finding you that perfect property if, of course, you're serious about buying. So with that being said, having a very detailed criteria makes it much easier for us to find you that perfect property. Now, hopefully, that's a way you can get your foot in the door and they start responding with some criteria. If that's the case and they do start responding with some criteria, you're going to want to hop down here and start asking more questions. But here's something that you can say after that. And like I said, we do things a bit differently than most wholesale companies. We actually allocate a team to hunt for that perfect deal. We just want to make sure that if we bring that perfect deal to you, you'll likely pull the trigger. Yes or no? If yes, we can get you added right away. So we want to be a premium service to these cash buyers. So there's no problem acting as a premium service to them. We're going to provide lots of value to them. We need some sort of cooperation in return. So here's a bunch of questions that you can ask these cash buyers. Guys, realistically, if we had every single answer to these questions that I have listed here, it would be a lot easier for us to find them that perfect property, and you'll get paid a lot faster when it comes to these commissions. So get detailed criteria, please. So the questions that you're going to want to ask is obviously the basic questions, any specific areas, counties, cities, zip codes. And remember, you guys are going to want to write this stuff down or type it as he's speaking. You should also have the calls recorded on open phone, which you do have to turn on. You have to record these calls so that you can go back, listen just in case you missed anything. So do you have a minimum bed, bath, square footage requirement? Do you have a price range, a max repair cost? This is a good question, but what are some deal killers? For example, hedge funds, they will not buy a property if it's on a double yellow lined road. So get some deal killers that may potentially kill a deal for this buyer. And then you want to ask, do you stick primarily to single family homes or do you dabble in multifamily, lands, portfolio, etc.? And once you have those criteria questions out of the way, and you can also come up with some on your own as well, but you're going to want to find out the buyer's terms. So how quickly can you close? Do you require an inspection period? If so, how many days? And I don't know what this is here, but we're just going to go ahead and delete that. And you want to make sure, like I said before, that you write down all the information and add it to the submission form later. So to close the cash buyer using this pitch, this is if they were open to giving you their criteria in the beginning. You want to make sure that you say something similar to this here, so that way we can really know if this buyer is serious or not. But here it goes. Okay, and like I mentioned, we do things a little bit differently than most wholesale companies. We actually allocate a team to hunt for that perfect deal. We just want to make sure that if the perfect deal comes across your desk, you'll most likely pull the trigger on it. But can you send any proof of funds, any other transactions you've completed, along with proof of funds, so our team can allocate some time to find you that perfect property? All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. Guys, these phone calls should only be 3 to 5 minutes long. I've had phone calls that have gone less than 3 minutes, but you want to stick in that 3 to 5 minute range. So these are really quick phone calls, but I put the steps here so it's a little bit easier to understand and we can go back through it. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is introduce yourself, be a friend and not a salesman. Guys, you're not really selling them anything. You're just introducing yourself, and like I said before, you're building that relationship with them. Number 2, you're going to want to get the buyer comfortable with sharing their criteria with you. And from there, you're going to want to ask all of the criteria questions. You're going to want to, like I said before, make sure you're writing everything down, relaying that information back over to him. So if he says, 3 different states, you want to say, okay, so you're buying in this, and this. And make sure that he knows that you're taking very detailed notes of his criteria. Once you get all the criteria out of the way, you're going to want to get the buyer's terms. So how quickly he can close, if he's using cash or hard money loan, just anything that has to do with the terms. And that's one of the easiest parts. But number 4 is you're going to want to make sure he understands the way we do things. We sort of reverse wholesale over here. So you're going to want to explain to him how this process works. And that's why we say, the part where we say we allocate a team to go and actually find you that perfect property. Make sure he really understands that, because it's actually true. We are going out and specifically finding these properties for these buyers so that we can make these transactions happen. But from there, you just want to judge how serious you think the buyer actually is. Is he willing to provide proof of funds? Is he willing to provide past transactions? Does he say that he has proof of funds but is not willing to provide it unless we give him a property? Get a feel for how serious the buyer is. And guys, that's pretty much it. A 3 to 5 minute phone call can generate you serious passive income. You just want to make sure that you include as much information as possible to the submission form. If you have a phone call, provide that phone call. As much information as you humanly can. If it's a 5-minute phone call, try to write a pretty decent sized paragraph about what's been talked about, include the phone call, but the more detailed information you're able to provide, the better it is. But guys, that's pretty much it when it comes to the script. It's very simple, very not salesman-y at all. But that's pretty much it when it comes to the script. Alright guys, I hope this video helped you get a better understanding of how we go through the script, how to talk to these cash buyers, questions that you need to be asking, things that you need to be looking for. But that's pretty much it. Guys, this process, like I said, is extremely simple. And if you want to get started generating buyers to create yourself a foundation that can build you passive income long term, make sure you go watch my other videos, go down below to the links in the description. Everything is there 100% for free, so you can get started doing this today completely for free. So like I said guys, I appreciate everything. I appreciate all you guys who are watching the videos and supporting this new strategy in the wholesale game. But make sure you like, subscribe, follow my Instagram at Blaze Sells, and follow where we post our vetted cash buyers that you guys are going to be generating, and that'll be Buyer Seller Marketplace. But I appreciate you guys. Peace.